Let's start with our test. I saw that somebody break into the flat at the moment I opened the door. Here we have to remember about a principle that says that when we witness the entire action, we want to use regular verb here. I saw somebody break, and that's actually the correct answer. I saw somebody break into the flat because that person saw the entire action. A similar case could be I saw them dance. That means I saw the entire dance. If I said I saw them dancing, that would mean that I saw only a fragment of that, that dance. So I only kind of walked into the room, saw them dancing, and walked out. So I didn't witness the entire dance. So we use a regular verb without the ing if we saw the entire action, and the verb with the ing if we only saw a fragment of that action. And here, in this case, we saw the entire burglary. So if I saw the burglar enter the house and rob the flat and break into or simply break into the flat, I saw the entire action. That means I'm using just a regular bare infinitive without just without ing, just the bare infinitive. That's what I want to use here. I saw somebody break into the house. Point 2. Two songs so far and they sound great. Okay, we have so far here, which means that and we have two songs so far, so that means that so far a number of items have been completed. We can talk about completion here, and you probably remember that every time we talk about completion of several items, we answer the question how many, and how many is actually in this context associated with present perfect. So they have recorded two songs so far. You can go and revisit the movie about the perfect tenses. It's in our YouTube channel, so you can go and see that. And I explained this kind of sentences in more detail in that movie. My student learned English for 6 weeks and can already have a conversation. Okay, so in this sentence here we are answering the question how long has he been learning English. So that means we are using present perfect continuous. My student has been learning English for 6 weeks. Okay, so we are talking about the length of the action. That means it's present perfect continuous. And again, I explained this in more detail, just like here in the movie about perfect tenses. There's a comparison of very similar sentences to these ones. Here, the way I interpret this sentence is that we are expressing our opinion. I think Hitchcock was a truly wonderful director. Hi, I'm on the train. We are coming into Central Station. So we are so somebody is talking on the phone, and somebody is saying what's happening at the time of speaking. So that's continuous tense. We are coming into Central Station. That's the way I think that's the easiest way to interpret this sentence. I think there are two parts to this sentence. So I think this is just a misspelled. I mean, this is in capital letters. It should be just small caps here. So have you seen my mobile phone would be the question, would be the proper sentence. Have you seen my mobile phone? We're asking the question in present perfect because that is actually an action that's recently that's the consequence of somebody losing his or her mobile phone, and and that person is still looking for it, and if that action still has consequences now, which it has, that means we need to use present perfect. Have you seen my mobile phone? The school performance, this is just a timetable and a scheduled thing. So if something is like a timetable, like a scheduled timetable, you want to use present simple. So the school performance finishes at 11 o'clock. Now with the more context, you could also say the school performance will be finishing at 11 o'clock. But in this case, the easiest way to interpret this is just that this is a timetable, and we want to interpret it as such, and therefore we use present simple. People start living on other planets in 50 years' time. Now this is a very distant prediction, and when we are talking about unsure, distant predictions about the future, we want to use future simple. So people will start living on other planets in 50 years' time. So will start, right? Will start. And don't be surprised that there's a continuous here. This is just a consequence of the fact that we use the verb start. Start living, that means start some activity, okay? This doesn't mean that we have any continuous tense here. Here we have just future simple, and this is just the consequence of the use of the verb to start, okay? I hurt my back when I was working in the garden. So we have a shorter action that happens somewhere in the middle of a longer action. So I hurt my back is the shorter action, and I was working in the garden is the longer action. It's all arranged. When we're already here, we can see that when we talk about pre-arranged actions, we want to use present continuous. So we are meeting at 2 p.m. by the market square. Now we are going to meet would also be okay, because sometimes you can use going to and present continuous for the future interchangeably. Now, if you don't remember present continuous for the future, have a look at our compilations, and if you don't find this in our compilations with the tenses, you can have a look at our handout, and especially at the handout regarding future tenses. There's a special handout in our compilations. There's a future tenses handout in our compilations, and you can find appropriate you can find the right information in there. Okay, so this is the first exercise, and we'll be back in a moment with the second one.